So here's my thing with relationships is I really, really feel like the biggest thing between you and I is that we're friends.
True,
And
true.
I do prefer to spend my time with you rather than somebody else. Neither one of us are really off trying to go spend a bunch of time with somebody else. So we're companions, we're friends, you my ace. And I think that when we're talking about developing a love relationship and to keep your relationship intact long term, I think that's a biggie. So making it worth it is just invest in your friendship, not just your relationship. Welcome. This is For Better and Worth,
The podcast where we don't believe you have to sacrifice your relationship while you grow and build your net worth.
We are your hosts.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Ericka Young, and we're so glad you're joining us today.
All right, y'all, let's get into it. Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
You have to get
I said I'm doing good.
I don't know what
that
that
wasn't
is.
actually a. It's not actually a word. I'm doing good.
You had
Let
a
me
snack.
enunciate. I'm doing good.
You had a snack, so now you doing better.
Sometimes you gotta feed the machine.
How'd I know you were gonna say that?
Because it's a machine, and you gotta feed it with the right things.
So
you gotta exercise the body.
we gonna talk about feeding the machine some love today.
Right, the relationship machine.
Yes. So yes, we are, because it's a lot. Okay, so first of all,
what you mean it's a lot?
no, a lot has been going on. A lot,
Okay.
you know what I
Okay,
mean?
I thought you were saying like this relationship is a lot.
Sometimes it is. Oh, look at all this. No, okay, so Valentine's Day is typically the time when people show their partner love. And I'm a Valentine's Day hater. Like, I just don't care. I honestly just don't care. Like, and you have made out like a fat rat because of that. Because I feel like if you can't show me love 364 days,
How you gonna show me love this one day?
This ain't gonna do nothing, right? So my thing is, it should be year round, and so we don't typically go out. Like, that's not a thing. We actually went out last year because it was an actual concert on Valentine's Day that we wanted to go to, which is cool. But we not those people.
It's a lot going on then, and reservations are hard.
I'm not interested in waiting 2 hours in line. I am not interested in being around all the other people who just decided they was going to take their spouse out. No, because...
See, baby, that's because I show you love all year long.
And as you should, as we should, right? Like, I'm sorry. I'm a hater.
Right. You getting a little indignant.
We used to in Michigan. You remember we used to celebrate Sweetest Day like in October. It's a thing. But I think
they still celebrate Sweetest Day in Michigan.
They do.
Shout out 313. What up, dope?
And I'm still your sweetie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. I guess I'm just... I don't want to be...
I think it takes more than just one day a year.
Do you buy into Valentine's Day?
I mean, I'm okay with it. I mean, I still get you something because I want you to, feel loved and feel appreciated.
Yeah.
But I do things throughout the year. And I actually, said I'm going to do things more frequently because, like, I thought about it. I was like, man, I haven't bought Ericka flowers in a while. And so I don't want, like, Valentine's Day to be the only time I buy you flowers because more or less you would expect it then.
Yeah.
I'd rather just show up one day like, I was just thinking about you, realized I hadn't done this in a while, so I wanted to do it. I think that means more.
There was this one time you knocked my socks off, and it was not Valentine's Day. It was, you had just started in pharma industry, and you were out of town. And it was closer to the holidays because we were concerned about you getting stuck in that location. And
I was traveling for work.
I was expecting you to come home, get off the flight, and be home by 8, 9 o'clock at night. But
your boy,
came, didn't tell me you were on an earlier flight.
Changed my flight.
And came in at like noon or 1 or something. And I almost fell over. You had flowers in your hand. I said, yes, my husband is home early. Like, that's the kind of stuff that to me is like, it far exceeds a planned day that is on the calendar.
Yeah.
That somebody else said you're supposed to do something for me. That I've never forgotten. And I'm sure that was like, that had to be 12, 15 years ago. You know, because we were in Arizona. We were in Arizona. So it was at least 13 years ago.
Yeah, that was longer than that probably.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, for those who are joining us, you know, hopefully you're checking us out on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast on some other platform. You know, welcome.
If you checking us out on YouTube, you see all the facial expressions. If you have yet to jump on over to YouTube, you missing it.
Go check us out. You can see all this is going on in the studio. But welcome. And you know, I think it's important to do things that are thoughtful. And, you know, relationships in and of themselves come with like so many expectations and, you know, so many things that, you know, you have to feel like you have to do. And so, you know, if you're not letting the burden of a particular holiday drive what you do, I think that would be one way to, you know, continue to show love is don't just be dictated by the holidays.
Yeah. And so we've said this before and we don't need to get into it now, but you know, the 5 love languages has been a really big help in our relationship, just kind of understanding what speaks love to your spouse or partner. So there is a quiz and there is a book and all the things. But for now, like just knowing how to show love, little things that you may not do for other people. So acts of kindness is one thing, but like I think honestly, the things that only you can do or the things that only I can do that show love is a big deal. So like right now, I am gonna say something that I ain't telling I was gonna say on the air. But it's not bad.
Wait. Let me get my face ready. Hang on. All right. 3, 2, 1.
So one way that I show love or that you want me to show love is rubbing or scratching your back. Is that a true statement?
Yeah.
Is that too much on the air?
No, that's all good. It's all good because you rub my back, rub my shoulder. You know, you the queen. If that was an everyday thing, you would every day.
I would be a lot. Okay. That's spoiling me, right?
But you know what? Since we here, you know, to try and meet that need, I have bought every apparatus to try and provide back rubbing.
And let me tell you.
From a massage chair to the handheld massage deal to, you know, I bought a couple of different types of heated massage.
And let me tell you.
And none of that
compares to your hands, your warm, strong hands. Yes. Yep.
There you go.
Yep. All of that.
Right there.
Yep. Yeah, because we're not going to finish this episode if you keep going. I'm for real. That in and of itself is a love language. I'm going to tell you right now. And it will relax me. And then you're touching me. And I'm not a touchy-feely person, but that in particular.
Yeah, you're a directed touch person.
If you touch me like that, we're all good. All things are in alignment. You know what I'm saying? But I think you have to know your spouse. You know what I mean? I think you have to really know what makes it for them. And I think you're more of a touchy-feely person. So you want to feel me next to you. Like, come on over here. We'll sit on the couch. You're like, come on over here. I'm like, but I'm good over here. And
I'm like, get your butt over here.
That's a nice way of saying.
Right.
But I think we just have to show each other love, you know?
Yeah. But I think like, you know, people were talking about, like, we've been married for a long time and, you know, it'll be, you know, another big number this year. And people always ask, you know, like younger couples that are either thinking about getting married or younger couples that recently been married, they ask us for input or advice. And, you know, I think like we like each other. We're friends. And that is so understated. Like people at different phases will want to get married or jump into relationships, but you really do have to like the person. And we talk a lot about money and finance on the podcast, but relationships are the core of how money and finance can even work. Because if the relationship doesn't work, it's like, how is all this other stuff going to work? So, like, I think we are friends and we genuinely like each other,
Yeah.
because I know I travel a lot for work, but it's not one of those things where, man, I'm so glad when he gonna be out of here on a trip.
Now that is the joke, right?
Right. It is a joke.
It's more of the joke of you be ready to leave. Like, I can't wait to get on this plane now because this woman.
but it's like, it's a joke, like literally, because it's not like, oh man, I gotta get out of here. Like, she getting on my nerves. Because I think that is some people's reality.
Yeah.
They want to go on a work trip to escape what's at home. And I'm never looking to escape what's at home. And I think that's because we are friends and we like each other. Like, it could just be the two of us and we could have a good time and laugh and joke and don't feel like we have to have other people added into the situation to enjoy ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a telltale. If you have to have other people around you and your significant other to enjoy each other, man, that's a problem.
Well, and that's interesting because for a while there, our trips, you and I, were in a group environment because we had a couple's, travel group.
Yeah.
And then
Which was great.
we had a wonderful time. And we did have solo time one-on-one with each other during those trips. However, there was a point when I was like, I really think, like, I'm sure that there were a couple of years in there where we just never went on a trip, just you and I. We went on trips with them and called it a just you and I trip.
Yeah.
And we had like I said, we had a
We
blast.
always had a blast.
But there's nothing to be replaced. You can't replace the time that you have solo with your partner. And so I realized, I was like, you know what? We need to make sure that we do stuff just with us. If we're going to do that trip, great. But can we just at least get a weekend away with just us?
Right. I remember some of our solo trips and how much fun we
Yeah.
had just us. But I remember our group trips and they were a ton of fun because we had so much fun just laughing and joking and, but we did always take time apart. But I think it reinforces the fact that, one, we're friends, we like each other, and it makes spending time together with other people or along with just you and I, it makes it work. And so that's one of the things I would say to couples that are listening. The way you create long-term lasting relationships and marriages, you better make sure you like each other.
Yeah.
And you better be friends, because friendship and liking each other opens the doors to other conversations that may be difficult, or you may have to find compromise in some of those spaces. So I think that's really one of the things I say.
Yeah. And I would also say that that might be the area to work on, is your friendship. Just enjoying playing, having games or some type of activity you do together. And I think that's something that you and I today probably could work on. You know what I mean? It's just like having our own, what is the thing that we do that is just us? Because our kids can mask quality time. If we spend family time for 20 plus years because you're raising children, it's really easy to not know, not be aware of if you are a friend to your spouse. And so when our last daughter was going off to college and people would say, "Are you ready to empty nest?" I would be like, well, the first thing that I would say to everybody was, I actually like this guy. You know what I mean? Like, we're friends. We get along good. Do we see eye to eye all the time? Nope. Does he get on my nerves? Yup. Do I get on his nerves? Yup. Don't you be amening over here. Don't you be doing. Listen, let me say it, okay? But we had those moments just like everybody else. But that's my friend. That's my homie. Like, that's my ride or die. That's how we go. Like, he goes, I go. That's how that is. And so I'm good with it just being us. And I'm also like, when he goes to travel or if he has something to do or, commitments.
You're okay with getting some time on your own,
Yeah,
solo.
yeah, absolutely. And so I just think that it's a good practice to work on the friendship. And that's separate from romance. That's separate from the children. That's separate from the responsibilities or even the
Right.
money. Like, work on the laughter, work on, just enjoying one another's company, work on, that kind of stuff, because I think that that'll go a long way to all the other areas of your
Yeah.
life.
I know I used to tell the kids because you talked about how kids can mask things. And I would say to the kids, I say, look, your mama was here before you, and your mama's gonna be here after you.
Yeah.
And so many times kids and relationships can take priority or take precedence over a spouse. And I know in my mind, I always put the kids as secondary to you because
Mhm.
like I said, one day the kids are gonna fly the coop and we're gonna be here together as we are today as empty nesters. And you gotta be able to, enjoy who you're here with and not be like, man, kids, when you're coming home, I need a referee. And I think a good part about it is that I know you always got my back.
Mhm.
And I always have your back because we are teammates.
Yeah.
We're in this together, and I really want to see you win. And when you win, I win. And when I win, you win. So it's like it's so important to think about like I come to you for, input on things that are going on in my life and vice versa. And that way we can support each other because I'm not gonna give you bad advice
Right. Yeah, and I'm not gonna
because
give you bad advice.
right, because I wanna see you win and have
You win,
success.
we win. I
Exactly,
win, we win. You know what I
exactly.
mean?
That's
So,
how it's Team Young.
yeah. Boom. So,
I like how you flipped that. You saw
I
us
d
coming in, hot.
uh. So,
When, do we knuckle? Do we
the
clap? What is it?
no. But we, started watching Later Daters recently.
Man, we gotta stop giving press to these shows
Listen,
'cause
wait, no, Later
this
Daters
show is
is
hilarious.
hilarious. And I stumbled upon it because Michelle Obama actually produced it. And so I was like, oh, let's watch this.
I think it's funny.
Let me give it one episode. So I watched one episode and I was like, honey, you gotta watch this. So we rewatched the
You
first
gotta
one.
set the context though.
Yeah, so it is people who are over the age of 55 who are looking to date, and they will do a bit of matchmaking, um, to let them just go on a date or 2, sometimes 3, and you'll just go on that date with them and see how it works, right? And you'll get to know maybe a family member or a friend, with just to get some context or perspective from about that person and what type of person that they want or would like. And so you get to see a lot of different aspects. But what I enjoy, because obviously I'm not looking to date, I'll date my husband, but like, you know, one would wonder, why does a married person watch this show? Well, shoot,
It's entertainment value,
it is
honestly.
entertainment. But these people, the common thread of people who have already had their children, who are on the tail end of their career, or looking to maybe step out of their business or slow down a bit on work, um, and who are established in and of themselves. What they want in dating is companionship.
Yep.
And so I think a lot of times when you have been married for a long time, it's easy to put companionship on the back burner. But they wanted somebody to go travel with. They wanted somebody to go do fun things with. They wanted somebody to they didn't want to cook for one anymore. They wanted to be able to have somebody to talk to, somebody to lean on. And they didn't want their money. They didn't want to have kids with them. They didn't even want for them to take care of them because they had their money situation together. They just wanted somebody to walk alongside them. And so if we miss that in all of the other things that we have done, because we have spent 20 plus years building a family, we have built, if you will, a financial portfolio, we have had careers, and essentially we're mid career professionals. And you know, we don't need to do those things, but if we haven't worked on our companionship, then when those things become less important to us, then our companionship isn't there.
I think there's two things that I took away from it, you know, aside from what you just said. Because one thing I did get was companionship. And I think that's what everybody wants. Because it's nothing like coming home to an empty house. And if you have a pet, that's why people get pets, because
Yeah.
they don't want to come home to no one.
Do you like coming home to our pet?
That's a whole different story. Because I have a companion. I don't
But the
need
dog
another
is
four-legged
not,
companion.
because the dog is also another companion. He's not as
No,
important as you.
don't take me off my point.
Oh, okay.
You know, it ain't about the dog right now.
I just needed that
You
right
know,
then.
he
That's
all
all.
right. He
Okay.
all right.
Okay.
You know, don't be no haters on me because I ain't grow up with pets. Okay, we couldn't afford no pets. My mother wouldn't let me have any pets.
We know you're not a dog person.
Okay,
It's okay.
I had 2 goldfish growing up, and that's what I had, Paco and Amigo.
Paco and
So
Amigo.
you know what I'm saying? It's like
R.I.P.
right, but anyway, the on the serious side, the thing I took away is that it's never too late for, you know, romance or relationships. And I think most of the people on that show were like between 55 and like 70. And so it's never too late because there's a lot of people who are looking for the same things. But the other thing I took away is that people have some strange idiosyncrasies about themselves.
That's what made it a great show.
Right. There's quirkiness and there's like, you know, you call it weirdness.
We all got our
You
little
know,
weird
yeah,
stuff.
but I think that's another part to a lasting relationship is sometimes you just gotta accept, you know, people for who they are or what they are. So it's almost like look, you gotta take the good with the bad, you know, and just be accepting of people because there's things about me that you probably get annoyed by, you know, like there's things about you I may get annoyed by, you know. So
I
it's
don't even
like,
understand how you would get annoyed by me.
see, that's what I'm talking about right there.
I mean,
Self-awareness or
I,
lack thereof.
I don't rub you the wrong way. I don't understand why that would even be a point you would
You know
make.
what? We'll take this offline. I'm not gonna get into the list of things that
The list. Don't you say you wrote that junk down, okay? Because what we not gonna do.
left it in the bathroom on the counter. Like, you know, here's the things that you can work on. Stop leaving these things sitting.
Wait, though. Okay, on that point, I do know. I will mention no names. But I heard somebody say this in a public arena, not, a public format, let's say, that they had wrote a list like that
Yeah, that's
of the
crazy.
things that their spouse did that annoyed them.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And wanted to discuss the list.
Yeah. I guess you want to sabotage your relationship if you're gonna write a list like that.
And here's my thing. Okay, this little small point is if something annoys you, get good at just saying in the moment that it annoyed you. Because if it builds up and builds up and or you've got these 3 things, because we've done this, both of us have done this in the past, where it's like, I didn't say nothing, and then I didn't say anything about that, and then I didn't say anything about that, and then I'm annoyed with everything. And then by the
Now
time
you got an ongoing story.
exactly, and then you say something, and then it all comes out. And we don't argue, we don't raise our voice or anything like that. But it's unfair. It's unfair for you to walk through a full week or whatever, however long it is, and they not know how you feel about what isn't really working or the place that you're at right now with them. Air it out as quickly as possible.
You know, I adopted this saying like almost 30 years ago when I first heard it. Marriage is about giving up your right to be right. Because
give it up.
Everybody wants to be right. You know? And it's like if I had a list of things that were annoying things about you, I actually go down that and I would say, well, if I have a problem with it, then I should do something about it. And it's typically stuff that's just like, you know, like if you leave, we used to go at it about dishes because I'm a super clean, you know, person. So if I have a problem with dishes in the sink, okay, well, maybe I should just put them in the dishwasher, or maybe I should just wash them. and always leave the sink clean. Then I started to set a habit and a precedent of this is what
Well, and you
good
know
should look
what? And
like.
I think I have gotten a
You
lot better.
100%.
And in addition to that, you have been we had that first argument when we were at our apartment. We had just got married and it was three things in the sink and you lost your
I
mind.
was like, "Why are you leaving these dishes
You
in the sink?"
you freaking walked out of the apartment.
You know what's funny is I don't even remember
I know
this.
you don't, but it is a
It's
core memory.
seared into
It is
your
a core memory of the beginning of this relationship as married people,
it's seared
okay?
into your memory bank.
I am not making this junk up, okay? But if you have come a long way from that as well, because not that this is good or bad, it just is. Like there are times when dishes are in the sink and you can sleep at night. Like
Yeah.
you're good. And I can get up in the morning and wash the dishes because now I'm like I want to see that,
You know what that is? You know what
right?
that's called? Compromise.
Well, but it's also we
Because
learned about the good
yeah,
things of the other person, right?
yes.
So
Because instead of me just stressing like, there can't be dishes in the sink, there's been a many of days where you get up early and you go and do like a once over through the house, pick things up and
mhm,
wipe down and take care of the dishes. And then I come downstairs, I'm like, man, Mary Poppins been through here. Like
right.
you done straightened up and cleaned
Before
up.
everybody
Like,
get up, you know?
yep. And so I appreciate that now. And I learned how to release some of that may have bothered me in the past because it's not that serious.
You're not in that regard, not as nitpicky.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you've learned to relax, and
I
so
think it's one of those things that I've always said, that's a minor thing, but I was majoring on that minor thing. And now that's why I always say, don't major on the minors because we make a big deal about small things. That's a small thing that I shouldn't have made a big deal about, but I've learned. And so, like, I think that's where people have to accept some of the small idiosyncrasies or quirks about people because what's the bigger picture that we're talking about here?
what's one of your quirks, babe? Since you've overcome being annoyed with the dishes so much.
I had this perfectionist mentality, and I also have this thing where if I want something done, it's got to be done like right now. And the kids even know that that's kind of my thing because it's almost like I can't focus on the next thing until this thing is done. So I've learned to like relinquish control, like even when they lived here, give them an assignment, but give them some latitude to complete it. Opposed to no, do it now, do it my way. And, if they aren't doing it my way, I learn how to show them. So I had to relinquish some of that control. And I'm still working on it because I know that I'm a kind of controlling person. I like structure. I like things to be a certain way.
You're very black and white and gotta get it done.
It's so funny how I'm so black and white with some things, but I'm so great with other stuff.
What are you gray on?
Well, we talk about like, progress over perfection, how things don't have to be perfect,
Yeah.
but you have to continue to make progress. And that can be said for, finances and investing. And it can also be said for relationships because I'd rather relationships see progress over being perfect because you can endure for the long haul if you're constantly making progress versus focusing on trying to be perfect at every step of the way.
Yeah, I do think your control or the perfectionism, if you will, comes at different times, And yeah, we're all quirky. What's one of my quirks? I'm curious.
I don't know if I really want to get into this.
Is it deep?
No,
Is it
no,
deep
it's
or
not.
embarrassing?
It's not. It's not. I don't know. I can't think of anything right offhand.
Mm.
One thing I've noticed lately is you leave the food thermometer out.
Is that my issue or yours?
I think it's yours because I don't care when you use it. It's not going back in the drawer unless I put it away. I'll be like, this girl, she gonna leave this, and I've left it out. I left it out before, and it was still there. Like a couple days later, I was like, let me just put this thing away because clearly she's not putting the food thermometer away. Yeah, so the quirks are minimal, but it's all good.
I think some of my quirks are that some things I just simply don't care about. And it's a quirk, because it creates something in you too. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and I think that's, I don't know. I'm sure I have more quirks. I know I have more
Yeah,
quirks.
it's all good.
But whatever the case, here's the deal. I feel like we should just get to like make it worth it.
Yes, let's do that.
So here's my thing with relationships is I really, really feel like the biggest thing between you and I is that we're friends.
True,
And
true.
I do prefer to spend my time with you rather than somebody else. Neither one of us are really off trying to go spend a bunch of time with somebody else. So we're companions, we're friends, you my ace. And I think that when we're talking about developing a love relationship and to keep your relationship intact long term, I think that's a biggie. So making it worth it is just invest in your friendship, not just your relationship. What about you?
Um, I think that people change over time, and one of the ways you can make it worth it is to accept people as they are. At whatever phase in the relationship you are. If you're in an early phase, just know there's gonna come a time when you yourself are gonna be different and your partner is gonna be different. And you have to accept each other for who you are at the different phases of your relationship because in different phases of life, we all change. And if people just remain the same, we would actually be surprised by that. And so just be willing to accept people for who they are and where they are. And I think that will take a lot of pressure off of being any one thing at any one time. And that will allow people to, have good relationships. So
I love it. I love it. I feel like that's super helpful because man, if you can't accept all of the quirks I got, and then I'm looking at your quirks
mhm.
or what have you,
Yeah,
no,
it's gonna
not
be all
okay.
good.
Yeah. So I just think that's good. I'm glad that we talked about this because I really feel like if you can get your relationship solid and keep it trying and work to keep it solid, then it's gonna be easier to talk about the money and easier to make that money grow.
It'll definitely open up other doors that'll be easier to walk through. So,
Absolutely. So
but until next time,
we're out.
thank you for spending some of your time with us today.
We appreciate all of your support. So be sure to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you listen to this podcast.
You can find us on Instagram at For Better and Worth.
And sign up to receive our free guide, The 7 Reasons Your Money Relationship Isn't Working with Your Partner, on forbetterandworth.com.
Until next time, we're out of here.